Speaker, I come before you today to move a motion for the approval of the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana for the year ending 31st December 2021. Right Honorable Speaker, let me at the very outset express my profound gratitude to the President for the trust and confidence reposed in me in designating me as the Minister with temporary responsibility for the Ministry of Finance. In these past 5 days, I have received massive cooperation and indeed guidance from His Excellency, the Vice President, the head of the Economic Management Team, Mr. Charles Adubuaheng, the President's representative at the Ministry of Finance, and the Minister-designate for Finance, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, from far away United States of America, the technical team at the Ministry of Finance. May I also thank my colleague ministers and members of Parliament for the expression of good wishes and support. Let me also, Speaker, on this momentous occasion, wish the First Lady of the Republic happiest birthday for attaining the biblical optimum age of 70. Today, Friday, the 12th of March. Speaker, to Mrs. Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, let me just say, what can I do without you? Speaker, colleagues, I want to believe.
Honorable Minister, is it an invitation for her to come and stand by you?
Mr. Speaker, you know that she is a stranger in this house, and our rules will not permit her to stand by me. Otherwise, I know I will have the permission of the minority leader, in whom I'm sometimes well pleased to be by my side. As Speaker, I was saying that I want to believe that the facts of the majority leader in the government business, one of our own, presenting the budget statement in this House, should provide sufficient mitigation to subdue the flame of heckling from the professional hecklers. That's why they know themselves. And I know one is pointing at me now. Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, on the authority of His Excellency, the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I beg to move that this Honorable House approves the financial policy of Government of Ghana for the year ending 31st December 2021. On the authority of His Excellency the President, in accordance with Articles 179 and 180 of the 1992 Republican Constitution, permit me to present to this August House the budget of the President of the Republic of Ghana. Speaker, this statement is an abridged version of the 2021 budget statement, and I would like to request the Hazard Department to deem the entirety of the budget statement and economic policy as having been read and capture same in the Hazard of today, Friday, the 12th March 2021, upon my completion of this submission. The Speaker also submit to this August House the following statutory reports. The 2020 annual report on the petroleum funds, in accordance with Section 48 of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, 2011, Act 815 as amended, the 2020 report on the utilization of the African Union levies, and third, the 2020 annual debt report in accordance with Section 72 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Mr. Speaker, on 28th of October 2020, and in accordance with Article 180 of the 1992 Constitution, government laid the expenditure in advance of appropriation in this House. I wish to report that the subsequent approval of those estimates by this august House has made it possible for government business and public services delivery to continue uninterrupted in the first quarter of 2021. Mr. Speaker, just 3 days ago, on the 9th of March 2021, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, presented the first message on the state of the nation of his second term. In that address, he clearly stated that even though, like other countries around the world, we've had to go through the worst possible pandemic of our lifetime, the nation is in relative good state, thanks to the grace of God and to the swift, decisive, responsible, and necessary actions taken by government to contain the virus, support families, and sustain the economy. Today, Mr. Speaker, I stand here on behalf of the President to present to you and the House the state of the economy, how we have managed to mitigate and survive the pandemic, and eke out a projected positive growth rate of 0.9% in 2020, contrary to the initial fears of a negative growth rate as experienced in many countries. I will also present to you deliberate and well thought out strategies that will hasten our recovery and place us on a confident path of sustained economic transformation. Mr. Speaker, the year 2020 was a difficult period for Ghana and the rest of the world. Never before in recent history has a pandemic triggered such dramatic changes to lives and livelihoods simultaneously. The last of such pandemic of global impact was the Spanish flu in 1918, over 100 years ago. The Syrian crisis has disrupted supply chains and exerted undue pressure on economic and financial systems, killed businesses and jobs. Developing and emerging economies, including Ghana, have had to deal with external headwinds, falling commodity prices, and rising expenditures to address the effects of the pandemic. The International Monetary Fund has estimated that the global economy contracted by 3.5%, while global trade also contracted by 9.6%. The COVID-19 pandemic has upended the economies of over 150 countries and is the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression in the 1930s. The Speaker, for the first time in our 64 years of nationhood, the government has had to tackle an unforgiving simultaneous health and economic crisis. The outbreak and the ensuing partial lockdown